Hello, you lovely internet people. Now that you know the best cards for 1080p gaming, both on Nvidia side and AMD's side, links below in the description if you haven't seen those, we have put together what I would say is I would call it the best 1080p setup for $1,000, I'd say. So, starting with our i5 4460, which I just picked out because I wanted to choose an i5, and the lowest priced i5 on Amazon was the i5 4460 at the time. And I assume if you're only going for gaming, then you don't want to overclock. So if you don't need to overclock, go with this. And if you do need to overclock, then you have to pay a little extra for the i5 4690K, and then you'd have to pay extra for a cooler too. But we're just focusing on gaming performance, so the CPU doesn't matter too much. So I just went with the lowest priced i5, which happened to be the 4460. Next up, we have our motherboard, which is the Asus Z97E with USB 3.1. The reason why I went with this one is because of all the plethora of options, and you're future ready for USB 3.1. It's not a standard yet, but you'd be ready for when that does become a normal thing. And then it also has onboard M.2 and SATA Express, which will be great for the future of M.2 drives and SATA Express drives. I don't know if there are any SATA Express drives yet, but there are definitely M.2 drives, which are incredibly fast. Next, we have the simple RAM. I just went with 8 gigabytes of RAM because you don't really need more than 8 gigs of RAM as of now when it comes to gaming. So 8 gigs of Ripjaw's X RAM. I can't say much more about RAM, it's just RAM, simple, as always. Next up, storage. Now, we went with an SSD as the boot drive, a 250 gig Crucial SSD. This is a very simple, budget-oriented SSD, so you'll get that fast boot time. It won't be the fastest of the fast when it comes to read and write speeds, but it is an SSD which is significantly faster than that of a hard drive. But we also have a hard drive for mass storage here. The Seagate 1TB Barracuda drive. Just because mass storage is good to have. Plus, if you fill up that SSD with programs, hopefully not, then you use this for your games. Next up, graphics card. I went with the R9 390 because I would say it's the best card for 1080p at 60 FPS. When it comes to that. So if you only have a 1080p 60Hz monitor, this would be a great card. Maybe even if you have the 144Hz monitor. But I would say that if you don't have that, which most people don't, then this card is perfect for you. Plus you get that extra VRAM for extra headroom in your games. Next up, we have a simple case. I just went with the Corsair Carbine 200R just because simple case has all the features you'd expect. USB 3.0 front panel. What are they called? Front headers? Something like that. And then you always have your simple headphone and microphone jack, then your power button. Has enough room for an optical drive if you were to do this. This build does not have an optical drive because I, for one, believe that they are obsolete now. And obviously, perfect. Enough room for everything has to be. If it isn't, then that'd be stupid. And then plus, if you wanted to opt for a windowed one, which is just a little bit more, then you could get the windowed version. And last but not least, we have our beautiful power supply. For without the power supply, we would not have power to the system, and your system would be a giant brick of doo-doo. But anyway, the power supply. We went with a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, fully modular, so then you can unplug the cables whenever you need to, maybe put in custom cables in the future. And why do we go for gold certified? Just because very power efficient, very great. Make sure that you're using most of the power and not wasting anything. Just, it's all about efficiency, and it was within the budget, so I just went with this particular power supply. Plus, I always love fully modular power supplies because cable management looks so nice when you don't have all those extra cables laying around. And that is basically it, other than the OS, but I don't include OS in case you want to run Linux or maybe a Hackintosh. I don't know what you're doing with your OS, but that is basically it. That is your 1080p build for a computer. I don't know what else to say right now other than 1080p for the win. I don't know. Most people game on 1080p according to Steam's survey, so if you want to game on 1080p max 1080p max settings and all this stuff, then go with this build, or go with a build that you think might suit your needs better. Like maybe you could go for an i3 instead of an i5, because why not? Except for then you wouldn't be able to play some games that require that you have a 4-core system, so then there's that problem. So maybe you could go even lower to an AMD Athlon chip or something like that to have that lowest of the low quad core and all that stuff. But I'm explaining too much. If you don't want to go with this build, don't go with this build. The links, the Amazon links will be in the description. So if you want to go with this build, go for it. If you don't. And I'm droning on too much. So like if you like, dislike if you dislike, leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike respectively. And above all, don't forget to subscribe for more content maybe like this. I have no idea what's coming next. So, bye.